Does anyone ever hook up on the ship? You know, smash, do the thing, do the nasty, bed wrestle, fool around, jump around, play around, mess around, hit the sack, smush. The answer is yes, 100% baby. Hey, what's up guys? My name is Justin and welcome to another fun-filled episode of Shiplife. So before we get into this very fun and long-awaited episode, if you guys could please do me a solid and go ahead and somewhere over here in this area on the bottom, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with that notification bell so you can see when I post up my Shiplife episodes, which debut every Sunday and Friday. Without further ado guys, today's episode is going to be on hookup culture. That's right, today I'm going to be going over the ins and outs of hookup culture while working on a cruise ship, but do not get this confused. I am talking about hookup culture, not relationships. That episode will be coming out next week, alright? So we're going to be going into all this, and I'll be giving you guys some details as far as how things go on the ship when it comes to doing the thing, along with a little bit more information. So without further ado, let's get started, shall we?
Let's go!
Some good water. So, everyone wants to know, does hooking up happen on the ship with the crew? Of course it does. Yes, we're human, and to be honest guys, I don't know if it's the motion of the ocean or what, but the rumors are definitely true. There is something about being out in the ocean that just puts you in the mood. So I'm gonna go ahead and just talk about how the hookup thing works on the ship because it is a very, very strange and taboo subject. So hopefully you guys find this enjoyable. And as always, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, please leave it in the comment box below, or you can always email me and I do my best to get back to you guys in a timely manner. So anywho, hookup culture. Hookup culture is a very, very real thing on the ship. And you guys have to be careful. Just going back, I've told you guys in previous videos, the ship is a very, very tight community. It doesn't matter how big the ship is, all right? It's like high school. Everyone, for the most part, they know everybody, all right? So everybody kind of knows everything that's going on. With that in mind as well, everybody is typically seeing everybody. And don't get me wrong, when I say that, there are people that are in relationships or ship relationships. My favorite term, I call them ship bae, which we'll get into in a minute. But just in general terms, the hooking up does happen. And you know, it's more so for, like I said, it is the open ocean. I don't know, maybe it puts you in the mood, but I think it's for a lot of reasons, particularly a comfort reason. And a lot of people don't realize when you're out in the ocean and you're away from your family, your friends, your loved ones, that whole thing, it can get pretty lonely. So of course there are a lot of people that turn to somebody else on the ship for their needs, both emotional and physical. I've seen a lot of things, to be honest with you. I've seen straight people turn gay on the ship and have a lover. Nothing wrong with that. I've seen married people have a ship bae. I've seen people that have been in long relationships have a ship bae. You see all of that crazy stuff, but like I said, we're not getting into a relationship, we're just getting into hooking up, which happens because some people want that temporary comfort, or they want to satisfy that temporary lust or need that they have at that particular moment. It's a very, very real thing. So where does this typically happen? So usually on the ship, basically what happens is most of the crew usually work long hours, usually, you know, about maybe 10 to 12 per day. And usually the only people they come in contact with are people in their department. And honestly, in my personal opinion, when it comes to that, you want to stay away from the people in your department. Just giving you guys a little bit of advice. You don't want to, what's the word? You don't want to, you know, go number 2 where you're eating. It's a real thing because it's a little too close to the chest. It's bad enough that you're hooking up with somebody that's on the ship, because you're on a giant tin can, you can't really go anywhere, so everybody's gonna know, everybody's gonna see it, right? So usually, for the most part, people are obviously meeting where? At the crew bar. People have had a long day, they want to drink, they want to relax a little bit, and they want to socialize. So yes, of course, people are usually out there at the crew bar when they want a little bit of razzle dazzle, a little bit of action for the night, and it happens, Now, when it comes to that, there is a little bit of a hierarchy, and there's just a ratio. All right. Now here, these are just simple facts. All right. As always, guys, don't take what I say verbatim, because I know things vary from ship to ship, but for the most part, things stay the same. Obviously, there are more men on the ship as far as crew than there are women. And it's not a sexist thing, it's just how things kind of play out when it comes to cruise lines, depending on departments and all that. There are more women, or more men than there are women. And to be honest with you, there are more options for the women than there are the men. Why, you ask? I don't know, to be honest with you. It's weird, but for some reason, there's always that select, small, few good-looking available women on the ship. I can't explain why, but obviously that means that the women on the ship have their pick. Because I'm telling you, and I've seen it, there's always that one or two beautiful women that come, and they come down the crew bar, and I'm telling you, the men turn into dogs, vultures. They are hunting. They are out there to get you. They will do this right here, and they will do whatever they can to try to get the woman's attention on the ship, and try to get them to come back to where? The little cabin. Hey, what up, girl? So after this, you wanna come back to my cabin? I don't have a roommate, and I get room service, and I got my own officer cabin. So you coming through or not? That's right. People try to use whatever tool they have in their arsenal to try to one-up the next man. It's a very, very real thing. So obviously the people that have a little bit more pull than the rest of the crew would be obviously entertainment. Obviously. Entertainment, the officers, because they have the bigger cabins, they usually have a little bit more pull. On top of that, women like a man in uniform. Can't beat it. So the guys will typically try to persuade the woman with the idea of room service, for example, because a lot of people get tired of the mess. There are people like myself, resident entertainment, and certain higher up people on the ship, like the officer and some security, that get room service from the guest areas 24/7. Man, I miss that apple pie. I do. But anyway, people would, the crew, they would persuade the girl, the men, to come back to the room, whether it be an officer cabin or food or maybe Game of Thrones, I don't know, whatever she was into. And a lot of times it will work. When you're on the ship, you kind of find out that all these little necessities and needs that you want are things that you might be used to back home you don't have. So the women usually cater to some comfort. No offense, but it's definitely a real thing. Like I said, it's only because the ratio, the man to woman ratio is so, like, it's there. It's a real thing. Let me see what else I can talk about when it comes to hookup culture. That's my point when it comes to the hierarchy as well. The officers, or let's say, I don't know about the captain, maybe he's got his own little stash of candy on the ship. But the hierarchy is a real thing too. If you're an officer or you're entertainment, you're somebody of like a higher rank, usually women are going to be a little bit more attracted to you. That goes without saying. But needless to say, in general though, there is a lot of candy on the ship. So if you're considering taking the contract, just keep in mind that your mind could sway a little bit, even if you got a girl. You can end up with a ship bae. You can end up with 2 ship baes. I've seen it. It's a real thing. Another thing that definitely sways the judgment when it comes to hooking up, your options are limited on the ship. All right. Given I wasn't really involved in the hookup culture, to be honest, because I have a girl. I've told you guys this before, and I brought her on the ship once too, even. But I was one of maybe, I don't know, 20 Americans on the ship. And when you have people from developing countries and all these other places, just from all over the world, there were about 70 different nationalities on the ship. For a lot of people, that is their time to taste whatever flavor they want at that particular time. Some people have a thing for Americans. Some people have a thing for Asians. Some people have a thing for German, Russian. They're all on the ship. So for a lot of people, when you're in this this fantasy world, because that's exactly what it is on the ship, it's like you're in a whole nother world, and everything else going on outside in the real world doesn't matter, right? So you're thinking a little bit differently. You're going to beautiful places around beautiful people with probably limited to no financial problems while you're on the ship. So you have time and the freedom to think about other things. So a lot of people use that to, I don't know, sow their wild oats, get everything out of their system, spend money, and have a good time. Hook up with that American you've always dreamed of hooking up with. Hook up with that Russian you've always dreamed of hooking up with. So between that and the combination of the ocean air, it goes down 100%. So I think that's it for the most part. I don't really think there's anything else that I can think of. Oh yeah, where do they do it? Obviously there's a cabin. A lot of people typically have roommates, and to be honest with you, like I said, it's a very taboo thing. Some people don't care. I've heard stories of somebody sleeping literally on the other side of the room, and other people, you know, they doing the thing right next to them. It happens because you don't have anywhere else to go. You're not gonna go to the I-95, which is where like all the officers and security and everybody is, and try to find a spot there. Not a good idea. It won't happen. Some people typically, you know, they'll ask maybe one of their boys or somebody that has their own room, the Jack and Jill cabins or whatever, if they can use that as like an alternative as opposed to going in the room with their roommate. Or some people do the college thing. You leave a sock on the door or something on the door that notifies, hey, look, I'm doing my thing right now. Just come back in about an hour or so. So that happens. I think that's it for the most part. Like I said, guys, when I do these videos, a lot of it comes to the top of my head, and but you know, if you guys have questions or anything like that, if there's something else you guys want to know more of, just go ahead and hit me up in the box below. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up. As always, guys, thank you. I really do hope that I'm giving you guys some good and valuable information. I'm trying my best to keep my channel growing and stay consistent. Like I said, I'm gonna have Sundays and Fridays for my video uploads. So guys, make sure you stay tuned for that. Also next month, I think I'm gonna possibly, I don't know, I'm gonna maybe leave like a little card above somewhere, like a poll. I'm thinking about getting some Shiplife shirts done. They'll be available for purchase, just so, you know, maybe I'll use them as donations to my channel so I can help it grow. But yeah, that's it. I appreciate you guys. Thank you. And I'll see you guys on Friday. But until then, you guys take it easy.